Today on Alex and Autos, by very popular viewer request, we're taking a look at the recently refreshed 2015 Honda CR-V. The Honda CR-V for this year has received some exterior, some interior updates, as well as a massive drivetrain upgrade versus the last year model. As usual, I have in my hands a Graco Classic Ride 50 child seat. This is a convertible child seat, which means it is suitable for forward or rearward facing installation and children between 4 and 50 pounds. In this video, we're going to see how well 1, 2, and 3 of these fit inside the CR-V. If you have any questions about proper child seat installation, I encourage you to find a local child seat installer or inspector in your area. They can help make sure that your child seat is properly installed in your vehicle. As always, the first step is to move the front passenger seat as far forward as is safe and is comfortable. We have a little bar right here since we don't have a power passenger seat on the CR-V. And I'm going to move this seat so that my legs still have about an inch of clearance between my legs and the dashboard. One thing to note is that I generally like to sit in a very upright fashion in the front seat. That is important because if you like to sit in a more reclined fashion, then you'll notice that you'll have more trouble fitting rearward facing child seats behind you. With the front seat adjusted for me at 6 feet tall, we almost have enough room to safely install this rearward-facing child seat behind it. The reason I say almost is because even though the seat is in the car and the green ball is in the green portion of this little raceway right down here, telling you that you're at the right installation angle, we don't have quite enough clearance between the front seat and the child seat. When installing a rearward-facing child seat, you want to make sure that you have 1 inch to 2 inches of room between the front seat back and the seat back of the child seat. That's because in the event of a rear end collision, this front seat can move a decent amount rearward, especially if it's occupied at the time, and you don't want it to impact the child seat. This could be resolved by making this front seat a little bit more upright or moving it a little bit further forward. In terms of comparisons, I noticed that we had a little bit more room in the Nissan Rogue and the Jeep Cherokee versus this CR-V, but the CR-V performs a little bit better than some of the smaller entries in this segment. When it comes to rear seat accommodations, it's important to keep in mind that the CR-V is a compact crossover vehicle, so this fits in with the RAV4, the Nissan Rogue, etc. As a result, you obviously should not expect the same kind of room back here as you'll find in the next step up, sort of like a Honda Pilot or a Toyota Highlander. Those will have an awful lot more room across the rear bench seat. Still, the CR-V has a very upright profile, and that means I can actually sit upright in this rear seat, my head is not touching the ceiling, and my hair is not brushing the ceiling. We also have a rear bench seat that's a little bit wider than you might suspect. Let's talk about anchors now, because the CR-V is very unique in this segment in that we have 3 sets of latch anchors, not just 2. Only the outboard seating positions are required to come with latch anchors, but Honda gives you a latch anchor right here in the center seating position as well. That's important because like many small crossovers and station wagons, we have a center seat belt that comes out of the ceiling. And if we didn't use the latch anchor in the center seating position, it could cause the child seat to be skewed to one side or the other, causing it to be a little bit less comfortable for an adult to sit next to this child seat. It doesn't really cause any problem with the operation of the child seat itself, it just makes the rear bench seat a little bit less useful. We also have 3 sets of top tether anchors. The top tether anchor for the center seating position is right here in the ceiling. Fortunately, it is again in the center of the ceiling. That way it doesn't cause the child seat to skew to one side or the other like some vehicles. Top tether anchors for the outboard seating positions aren't quite as easy to get to. They're almost all the way at the bottom of the rear seat back towards the bottom of the cargo area. I did have to open the rear hatch, crawl in the back, attach the latch anchor back there, and then tighten them up from the cargo area. I wasn't able to do it sitting in the rear seat. Thanks to the overall shape of the CR-V, the dimensions of the CR-V, and the fact that this rear bench seat is relatively flat, it's not terribly bucket shaped, I had no problem fitting these 3 child seats across the back. Now keep in mind that the Graco Classic Ride 50 child seat is a very average child seat in terms of dimensions. That means if you have a larger child seat, you will have troubles fitting 3 of them across the back. If you have a narrower child seat, you'll get a little bit more room. If you're debating between something like the CR-V and a Honda Accord, for instance, you will find more room for child seats in the back in the Honda Accord, but the CR-V has more room than you'll find in something like a Honda Civic. One of the big reasons that people buy compact crossovers like the CR-V over a mid-size sedan or even a compact sedan is, of course, for the cargo room we have going on in the back. Our CR-V has the power rear hatch, which does take up a little bit of cargo room. You'll see that we have a little bit of a reduction right over here on this corner. Even so, you will obviously find a great deal more cargo room right back here than you'll find in either an Accord or a Civic. I can even stack these roller bags right there on that side and still close this tonneau cover over the top of them. I had absolutely no problem fitting all 3 child seats and a wide variety of luggage in the back. Again, this has been the 2015 Honda CR-V, and I'm Alex Dykes. This has been our weekly child seat review. Be sure and click that subscribe banner at the bottom of your screen so you can be updated on all of my latest reviews, including the full review on the 2015 Honda CR-V coming up very soon. You can also find me over at facebook.com/AlexandAutos, over at Twitter as Alex and Autos, and you can always email your questions to alex@alexandautos.com. I'll see you next week.